Why can't you speak? You're such an idiot. You're not even family. Get out now and go live with your old hag. Hey you guys, what's this all about? Pushing my son and his wife aside, I held my teary-eyed, slightly reddened-cheeked granddaughter close, glaring at the two of them. The defiant couple kept berating their mute daughter. I couldn't leave my precious granddaughter with these two. I decided to raise her myself and took her away immediately. 10 years have passed since that day. When we, who had been living overseas, returned to Japan after several years, my son and his wife came to visit. It's been a while. Have you been well? I'm so glad to see you. Let's live together from now on. We're family after all. You can take him back. I'm not family with a fool. My name is Claire Turner, and I turned 60 this year. Since losing my husband a few years ago, I've been living alone in a large house. When my husband passed away, I considered living with my son Tyler and his wife Mila, but decided against it. Of course, Tyler is my biological son, but there's some friction between that couple and me. Moreover, I might end up helping out at the taverns they run. Given my personality, I'm not good at customer service, and I can't move as I used to. Living together and helping out with work could lead to stress for both of us. In that case, I believe it's best for both of us to live separately. To begin with, even after my husband passed away and I was left alone, Tyler never once brought up the idea of living together. I'm grateful for that. Having been busy raising children and then taking care of my husband, I'd like to enjoy some time alone now. I've always felt that way, but once I was truly alone, it was lonelier than I had imagined. I have been so focused on housework, childcare, and caregiving all my life that I have lost touch with my closest friends. So now I spend most of my free time watching the news or reruns of dramas. I have thought about taking up a new hobby, but none of them have lasted long. In the midst of these tedious days, I'm supported by my two grandchildren, Amy, my 10-year-old eldest daughter, and Haley, my 6-year-old second daughter. They're both so adorable. Amy, the eldest, has a beautiful face and is bright and sweet. On the other hand, the second daughter, Haley, is quiet and a little clumsy. She is often compared to her older sister, who is beautiful and good at spoiling adults, and she always feels lonely every time she's pampered by them. Of course, to me, they're both equally cute, and I love them both, but if anything, I often took Haley's side. I was always on Haley's side, because she seemed to be smothered by her parents and older sister, in my view. I usually see my son's family about once every 2 months. Amy would come up to me with a smile and say, "Grandma!" She always comes up to me with a smile. She always has her hair arranged in a cute way and wears beautiful new clothes. On the other hand, Haley's clothes are always worn out hand-me-downs. Her long hair is so shaggy that it has not even been combed, let alone tied up. When Haley was younger than she is now, she used to talk a lot with words she had just learned. However, these days she doesn't even smile, and in contrast to the cheerful Amy, she's often silent and downcast. I greeted Amy as she came running up to me saying, "Welcome! You've come a long way," and then bent down in front of the downcast Haley to look her in the eye. "Thank you for coming, Haley. Please stay and relax for a while." Okay. I bought Haley's favorite snacks. Let's eat it together. Yeah, okay. Do you have my favorite candy too, Grandma? Of course I do. Come on, come inside. Let's go inside and have a quick cup of tea. As I was about to enter the house, holding hands with them, my son and his wife got out of the car just in time. It's been a long time. This is for you. Well, thank you for coming all this way. Everything okay with you too? Please stay and relax for a while. Hi, Mom. It's been a long time. Thank you. I went into the house with my son and his family and quickly prepared tea and snacks. While everyone was having tea, my son and his wife talked only to Amy, their oldest daughter, and did not seem to be talking to Haley. I tried to talk to Haley, but Tyler and Mila blatantly changed the subject and Amy interrupted me. Although I was very concerned about the family's attitude toward Haley, I always asked how things were going, thinking that I probably shouldn't interfere. Later, however, I would come to regret my response. That day, I was going to visit my son and his wife, so I brought them some of their favorite sweets as a gift. I arrived at the front of my son and his wife's house, and just as I was about to press the doorbell, suddenly I heard Tyler yelling loudly from inside the house. Why are you silent? Say something! Taken aback, I instinctively reached for the front door and found it unlocked. Without hesitation, I entered the house and proceeded down the hallway. The shouting seemed to be coming from the second floor. Why don't you ever speak up at school? It's always embarrassing because of you. As I hurriedly made my way upstairs, the shouting continued, and suddenly there was a loud slap. Entering the room from which the noise had come, I saw Haley sitting properly on her heels, with Tyler, Mila, and Amy yelling at her. Haley looked like she was about to cry, pressing her cheek, while, on the other hand, Amy was rubbing her palm as if it hurt. Hey, Haley, don't you have anything to say, even when your sister hits you? Doesn't it hurt? Say it hurts. Idiots like you who can't even speak aren't family. You might as well live with the old hag. Get out of this house. Hey, you three, what's going on here? Pushing aside my son, his wife, and Amy, I tightly hugged Haley, who seemed on the verge of tears, glaring at the three of them. The trio looked shocked to see me, but they soon spoke up. Mom, at least ring the doorbell. Why are you entering someone's house uninvited? Mom, that's a bit inconsiderate. Inconsiderate? Which one of us? Yelling at such a small child? Tyler, aren't you her father? How can you be so rough with a child? And Amy, why did you hit Haley? I'd never reprimanded my grandchildren before, but this was the first time I severely scolded Amy. Amy, taken aback, merely said, "But," and looked down. Suddenly, Mila swiftly embraced Amy and glared at me. Don't be harsh on Amy! Defiantly, I glared back at Mila. I couldn't believe a mother would defend her child who just hit her younger sister. Tyler then pointed at me, who was hugging Haley, and shouted, "What are you doing, Mom? Get away from that idiot!" It's you who are the idiots. Apologize to her right now. Apologize? Who would do such a thing? My son, his wife, and Amy seemed to have entirely hardened their hearts, treating Haley so cruelly. Haley, held by me, had a weak expression and gently clutched my clothes. Could she have been feeling like this all alone? In a split second, I lifted Haley and declared to my son and his wife I can't leave Haley in a house like this. I'll take care of her. The three seemed stunned as I stormed out of the room. After a moment, Tyler approached, a faint smile on his lips. That helps. I can't handle her. You take care of her, Mom. While I was dumbfounded by Tyler's words, Mila appeared from behind. In her hands, she held an old-looking small carry case and Haley's school backpack. I'll give you Haley's belongings. We'll leave the rest to you. Saying so, Mila almost threw the luggage at me. Haley and I were speechless. A glance at the couple's faces made it clear that they were pleased with the situation. Overwhelmed with disbelief, I silently left the house with Haley. We returned home without speaking a word to each other, and I took off Haley's shoes and lined them up in the entranceway. At that moment, Haley sniffed softly. I looked down at her face. Tears were streaming from her eyes, and she was biting her lip tightly. Without thinking, I hugged Haley and stroked her back. You've been through so much. I'm sorry I didn't notice. But it's okay now. I'll always protect you. I'm on your side no matter what. And so Haley and I began living together. The reason she couldn't speak might be because of the hurt she received from her parents in the past. Even simple words like good morning seemed too difficult for her to voice. I heard from her teacher that she doesn't speak with her classmates or teachers at the school either. I became worried and decided to take Haley to the hospital. As a result of the examination, it was diagnosed that Haley has selective mutism. Though the exact cause of the disorder isn't clear, the doctor mentioned the possibility of severe stress from her parents and siblings, resulting in her becoming so anxious, tense, and fearful that she can't speak even when she wants to. Fortunately, she's now living away from her family, and with the change in environment, she's expected to improve gradually, which greatly relieved me. On our way back from the hospital, I bought Haley a notebook with a design she likes and a cute pen. Haley, from now on, if you want to tell me or anyone something, use this notebook. Whether it's drawings or words, anything is fine. And once you get used to that, let's practice voicing out the words you've written little by little. Upon hearing this, Haley immediately picked up the pen and started writing something. When I silently observed, she showed me a page from the notebook once she finished. Looking at it, next to a drawing of me, it read, "Thank you, Grandma." Then Haley tried her best to voice out, "Thank," but she couldn't articulate it completely and looked down, disheartened. "You did great. Thank you for trying, Haley. You get a full score. Just take it one step at a time." When I patted her head, she looked up and seemed to be smiling slightly. From then on, Haley started using her notebook and pen to communicate with everyone at school. She might be slowly gaining confidence. Little by little, Haley began to speak, and 2 years later, the symptoms of selective mutism had completely disappeared. "Grandma, I'm home! Listen, today at school?" Every day when she returned home, she joyfully told me about her day at school. Seeing Haley now, lively and enjoying life compared to before, I felt a deep sense of relief. In the midst of all this, I attended Haley's 3-way interview at school. There was a kind-looking teacher waiting in the classroom. Haley and I greeted the teacher and took our seats. As I updated the teacher about Haley's behavior at home and listened to her school updates, I noticed Haley fidgeting, perhaps out of embarrassment. Please look at this report card. Haley's grades have been steadily improving since last year, her teacher said, displaying it. Looking at the graph, it was evident that her grades started improving since she began living with me and have recently surged at a remarkable pace. She's very passionate about studying lately. She buys challenging workbooks and studies every day, I told the teacher as I patted Haley's head. Ever since she began speaking, Haley's dedication to her studies was incomparable to before. On test result day, she'd proudly show me her perfect scores, and every day she'd be engrossed in her textbooks at home. I felt proud every time I saw her framed perfect scores on the wall. I see. I suggest Haley take an IQ test at the hospital. An IQ test? I echoed, surprised. The teacher responded, I believe Haley might be gifted. Apparently, gifted refers to children with innate high abilities. According to the teacher, Haley already possesses an adult-level intellect. To harness this potential, it's essential for Haley to learn in an environment that matches her abilities, which is why she suggested the IQ test. Taking the teacher's advice, I promptly took Haley to the hospital for the test. The results confirmed that she was indeed gifted. I was profoundly shocked to discover such talent in Haley. One day, I casually asked her, How's school these days? Do you enjoy studying? She responded with a somewhat gloomy expression. Grandma, honestly, school is too easy. I want to study harder, but I haven't told the teacher because I don't want to trouble her. Hearing this, I was deeply concerned. Would she find the academic environment she desires if we remained in Japan? She probably wants to study at a junior high or high school level. How can a grade schooler like her get that kind of education? I reached out to her homeroom teacher for advice. That's when I learned about the grade skipping system in the US. The teacher said that if we went to the US, Haley could study at her level. I then remembered my late husband's brother who was working in the US. Though we hadn't been in touch for years, I thought he might be able to help. I contacted him about Haley's situation and he kindly offered to assist with our relocation. I asked Haley about studying abroad in the US. I want to go, but I want to graduate with my friends and I want you to come with me, Grandma. Alright, let's do that. I'll also study English in the meantime. She smiled, relieved by my words. Haley went on to create many happy memories in elementary school and graduated alongside her beloved friends. They exchanged contact information, ensuring they'd stay in touch. Of course, we didn't tell Tyler and Mila about the study abroad or her gifted status. After moving to the US, Haley quickly adapted and advanced her studies using the grade skipping system. I did everything I could to support her. Seeing her enjoying her studies even more than in elementary school, I felt reassured about our decision to come to America. Haley's abilities truly were extraordinary. A few years after her study in the US, she entered Harvard University and started studying business and economics. And by the time I realized it, she had established her own company. Haley gives back to me. She always tells me. But she has already done enough to repay the kindness. She has grown up from such a small child to such a fine adult. Haley's success became the talk of the American news, and from there it spread all over the world on TV and the internet, making her a celebrity in no time at all. At this rate, Haley is sure to become famous in Japan as well. We wonder how Tyler and Mila are reacting to her success. I hope they're reflecting on how they have hurt Haley so much in the past. Exactly 10 years had passed since Haley had established her company in the United States. We had to return to Japan because of Haley's work. We had rented an apartment and were settling into life in Japan when suddenly the intercom rang. I wondered if it was a neighbor. I opened the front door without thinking. "It's been a long time, Mom. You look good." "Tyler? Even Mila? Why are you here?" I was horrified when I saw my son and his wife standing in the doorway. They are quite far from the area where we used to live, and of course I haven't given them my contact information since I changed it. How did they end up here? Mila called out loudly into the house as I couldn't hide my surprise. "Haley, it's your mother. I know you're there. I've come to see you." "Please leave her alone. What the hell do you want from us now?" "We're Haley's parents." "What are you talking about?" "You have Haley inside, don't you? We're her parents. Let us see her." "What are you talking about? Don't be selfish." I desperately tried to stop them, but my son and his wife came into the house without a care. As I was trying to get them to leave, Haley came out of the living room. "Grandma, what's wrong?" "What?" She couldn't hide her surprise at the unexpected visitor. I felt awkward and involuntarily turned my face away from her. The son and his wife were happy to see Haley again. "Haley, you've grown up so well. I missed you for so long." She quickly swatted away Mila's hand that reached out to hug her. "If you want to talk, so go to the living room and stay on the sofa, please. I'll prepare the tea," she said coldly and went into the kitchen to start preparing tea. Tyler and Mila sat on the sofa without any hesitation and continued to talk to Haley one-sidedly. I became concerned and ran to Haley and called out to her, but she smiled and winked at me. Then, "I'll take care of it," she said. After preparing tea, we sat down across from them, and the son and his wife began to talk. The tavern they had run together for some time had fallen into disrepair and gone out of business. Their eldest daughter, Amy, has been out of touch since she started working, and they do not even know where she lives. They have been living in poverty since they lost their jobs, and their savings are about to run out. "Haley, we raised you until you left home at the age of 6, didn't we? Would you be willing to support us as an act of filial piety?" "Haley must have missed us a lot, right? From now on, we will be together forever, and we will make many memories." The sight of Tyler and Mila clinging to their own child was so pathetic that I couldn't bear to look at them. Why did they have to grow up like this? Even though he's my own son, I don't understand. Where did I go wrong in raising him? As I was blaming myself in my head while looking at my son and his wife, I suddenly heard Haley's voice and I came back to myself. Filial piety? Nurture? I refuse to do so. You idiots are not my family. I have only one family, my grandmother. Then I have nothing more to say to you. Please take your leave. I have never seen such a cold smile in all my time with Haley. Haley, wait! Don't say that, Haley! Haley refused to accept Tyler's and Mila's crying request to live together, no matter what. Then she forcefully kicked the two who were about to cry out of the house as they were, and immediately locked the front door with a snap. When I quietly checked on them through the window, I saw them walking back with a dejected look on their faces. "Hey, Grandma." "I guess we'd better move," Haley said with a laugh. I asked her about it, and she told me that she was actually planning to build a house without telling me. She's designing it to be barrier-free so that she can live with me. "Haley, thank you so much," I said, and Haley smiled shyly and bashfully. A few months later, we moved into the new house she had built for us. The barrier-free house proposed by Haley is very comfortable for me. On the wall of our new house, I have many memories from when she was 6 years old. Of course, I have kept the freeform book and pens I bought back then. Whenever I look at them, I still get emotional and cry. I thought to myself, let's make many of Haley's favorite dishes for dinner today. I thought of that and immediately headed for the kitchen.